Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Ivy English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today we have an excellently valuable lesson for you called Why the Earth's Oceans Are Salty.
We have a
You have a what?
Boring.
我们在开玩笑啊，这篇文章很有趣啊，这个是 Bruce 老师写的哈，所以他刚刚这个情不自禁啊，这个自己夸奖了一下啊。OK， 好，所以我刚刚跟他开玩笑。那这篇文章呢，我们的中文标题是为什么海水是咸的啊 ？Why the Earth's oceans are salty 哈 ，salty 就是咸的意思或者含盐。
Okay, I'll read through our article. There are 3 paragraphs here. Let's get started. First, the good news. Water, the source of all life on Earth, is abundant. Now, the bad news. Most of it is undrinkable. 97% of the water on our planet is salty, and 2% is frozen as ice at the poles, leaving a measly 1% for people to use. How is it, you may wonder, that so much of the liquid water on our planet is salty? Water is a compound of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom, H2O. When water on the Earth's surface evaporates as water vapor, it picks up tiny amounts of 2 gases found in the Earth's atmosphere, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide. When this vapor forms raindrops, this fresh water is actually slightly acidic. As it falls on the ground, the acid dissolves small amounts of mineral salts, which end up in the water, a process known as weathering. These tiny amounts of salts have built up for billions of years, producing our salty oceans. Volcanic activity also contributes to the saltiness of the ocean in similar ways. Most of us have accidentally gulped a bit of seawater and tasted its salt. You wouldn't want that to happen while floating or swimming in the Dead Sea. Its water is nearly 10 times as salty as that found in the ocean. Only a few microbes can stand so much salinity. Still, all those minerals are supposed to be good for healthy skin. We can't drink it, but we can still bathe and swim in it.
Although, if this is true, the scientists at Australia's Monash University have come up with a water purification technology that you just run it basically through a cloth and it takes all the salt out.
Super.
And then you just dry the cloth in 4 minutes in sunlight and you can use it again. Now, this has not been produced yet, but they figured out how to do it. This was published in Nature magazine. So I'm really interested in whether that's going to go forward because that would solve so many problems. Then we could do more with the ocean than just bathe and swim in it.
And pollute it.
And pollute it and throw our garbage in it, yes.
Yeah， 这个刚刚 Angela 讲说这个澳洲已经有大学他们已经想出一种方法哈，这个文章刊登在 Nature 这个杂志上面期刊上面啊，他们可以把海水淡化哈，就用一块布啊，让海水透过这个布就可以把里面的盐把它这个过滤出来啊，非常厉害，而且这个布太阳底下晒一晒又可以再用了。
Yeah, I mean, it's just been researched. It hasn't been produced.
OK， 所以他们正在研究哈，还没有真的生产出来。但是如果做出来的话，那当然也会改变我们的生活。
It really would. So hopefully that will come out. Anyways, back to our article. It says, first, the good news. And the good news is what? That water, the source of all life on Earth, is abundant. Yay! We're not going to run out of water. Water as part of the oceans, as part of the ecosystem. However, what we are having a problem with on this planet is drinking water, drinkable water.
好，所以呢 ，first， 首先呢，我们来讲好消息 ，the good news。好消息是什么呢 ？Water 后面给你一个同位格，告诉你它是 the source of all life on Earth， 是地球上所有生命的泉源或者源泉啊。那水这个东西呢 is abundant。好 ，abundant 就是 plentiful 啊 ，plentiful 啊 ，plentiful 啊，就 existing in large quantities 很多很多。那 abundant 这个字呢，它另外还有一个跟它同一个字根的是 abound 啊，这个是不及物动词 abound A-B-O-U-N-D 这两个字根一模一样啊。abound 这个字很好用，它是不及物动词，所以可以直接说什么什么东西 abound 就是表示有很多这个东西。那这个 A 呢字首呢是 from 的意思啊，那这个 bound 这个字根呢是 surge 啊 S-U-R-G-E 啊。那为什么会这样想呢？各位有看到这个 abundant 这个字，你想到那个脑袋里面就会有一个 picture 啊，就是那种东西满出来啊 surge from 啊，这个某个宝藏箱啊之类的，那你就记得这个 image， 你就知道 abundant 是很丰富的意思。
Now, the bad news. Most of it is undrinkable. If you can drink water, it is potable. P-O-T-A-B-L-E. P-O-T-A-B-L-E. If you can eat something, it is edible. E-D-I-B-L-E. E-D-I-B-L-E. Well, most of the water in the world is not potable. It's undrinkable.
好，所以可以喝的这个形容词叫做 potable 啊，那相反就是 undrinkable。所以他告诉你说 now the bad news。 为什么 now 呢？就是我刚跟你讲 first， 我跟你讲 good news， now 现在呢该轮到 the bad news。 坏消息是 most of it， 就是这个 it 就是水，地球上的水大多数是 undrinkable， 是不可以饮用的。
Let me ask you guys something. If someone tells you, do you want the good news first or the bad news? Which do you usually choose?
This has never happened to me in my life.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know.
I would want to
And you, sir?
I would want to hear the bad news first.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I'll feel better after the conversation, I guess.
Yeah, but when you're inviting people to share in a room, usually you ask them to share good things first.
Like share things to talk about?
Yeah, and then you can share the complaints. Like you get everybody built up with the positives, and then people
Open
are
up,
fortified and ready to
relaxed.
talk about the problems in the
I
group.
can see that.
So there's a psychology for either one.
Yeah.
Okie doke.
好，所以我们刚刚谈到说，有人问你说你要想听坏消息啊，先听坏消息还是先听好消息啊？那我跟 Bruce 老师都觉得我们想要先听坏消息啊，因为坏消息听了之后，你还可以再听好消息。那 Angel 老师就说呢，事实上也有人做过一些研究哈，这个也有很多人他们是希望先听一个好消息，或者在很多场合里面其实是先宣布好消息的，然后再宣布坏消息。那两种呢背后都可以有一些心理的一些研究跟分析。
Now, we just said that most of the water on our planet is undrinkable. You could drink it. It just wouldn't make you feel very good. But the point is that 97% of the water on our planet is salty. The oceans are salty. And then another 2% is frozen at ice at the poles. And as global warming is showing us, we really need that ice to be frozen there because the circulation of the water on our planet depends very heavily on the poles being cold. And so 97 plus 2 is 99. That leaves a measly 1%. Measly means just like a very, like...
ridiculously small.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, or contemptibly small.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm trying to think of, like, what's 小气 in English?
Oh, miser.
Yes, it's a
Miserly.
miserly. That's the word I was
miserly.
trying to come up with. Like, it is so unfair that out of all of the water, only 1% is available to us people to use and drink. However, if you understand the sheer quantity of water on this planet, 1% is actually plenty for people to use and drink. The problem is, as always, distribution and cleanliness and also what we are doing to our own water sources.
Okay, the word miserly is spelled M-I-S-E-R. A miser is 小气鬼. Ja L-Y, then you have the adjective form, acting like or being like a miser.
好，所以 miserly 哈也是这个很小气的，就是非常小的意思，非常少的意思哈。那就是我们刚才解释这个 measly 这个字哈，这个字其实蛮有趣的，你听着声音感觉就很小，就很小，这个非常的很抠那种 measly 哈。
It just feels mean.
Yeah 啊，那事实上还有另外一个字也是 M 开头的，也跟少有关哈，它通常指瘦哈 meager
nice one.
meager, meager 啊，那个也是少的意思，它通常是很瘦、很小、很少的意思 ，yeah.
But meager feels more like, oh, you poor baby. And measly feels more like, ha ha ha.
所以这个大家记得哈，这就是这两个字的差别哈。那这个 meager 感觉起来你好可怜哦，这么一点点。然后这个 measly 就是哈哈哈，你看你这么少啊。所以这两个的背后的态度，各位可以顺便把它学起来。这些东西其实都是英文里面我们作为 non-native speakers 很难学到的东西啊，就同样我们通常背一下会背到好多个字啊，这个字意思差不多，但是事实上它们的意思都会有点不一样，所以你要把这个字跟那个情境联想在一起，这样才能正确使用这些字。好，那我们回来看看我们这个句子，他说有 97% 的水on our planet， 我们星球上面有 97% 的水是怎么样 is salty， 是咸的啊。然后呢 and 2%， 然后 2% 的地球上的水呢 is frozen， 是冰冻起来的 as ice， 就它冰冻的状态是冰，也就是它是以冰的状态冻起来的，冻成冰啊。那在哪里被冻成冰呢 at the poles， 那 the poles 就是指南北两极啊，所以在南北两极有 2% 的水被冰在那边。那 leaving， 那这样子只剩下一个 measly 非常少的 1% for people to use， 只剩下 1% 的水人们可以用。
How is it, you may wonder, that so much of the liquid water on our planet is salty? 97%. How can that be?
How is it? 那其实后面接的是 that. How is it that? 就怎么会这样子呢？好，这为什么会这样子呢？所以那个为什么就是 that， 就是我们要知道的这个现象的这个我们想要知道为什么的这个现象，就是 that 那个子句啊。那 that 子句里面告诉我们说 so much of the liquid water， 这么多的液态的水 liquid 就是液态啊，那水 water， 我们地球上这么多的液态水为什么是 salty 的呢？所以他问这个问题。那 you may wonder 是插入句那各位注意到刚刚 Bruce 老师念的时候，他是 How is it you may wonder 他的声音会降下去那你不要把它念成 How is it you may wonder that 那样的话太兴奋了所以在念的时候他记得 You may wonder 这个是个插入句，它整个音调降低，所以 How is it you may wonder that so much blah 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 这样子。
Well, how it is this. Water is a compound of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom, which is why we write it H2O. The 2 means there's 2 hydrogen, and the lack of a number after O means there's just 1 oxygen. So this is the basic makeup of a water molecule.
Yeah, 好，各位大概从小就背水是 H2O， 那这里各位看到英文可以怎么样解释这个 H2O 把它学起来。所以呢他说 Water is a compound of， compound 就是一个化合物，水是一个化合物，是什么的化合物呢？是 2个hydrogen atoms 2个氧原子 and 1个 oxygen atom 氢原子，所以水是2个氧原子跟1个氢原子所结合的化合物。
When water on the Earth's surface evaporates, when there's wind, and especially when there's a high temperature, water evaporates. It turns into a water vapor. Vapor is a gas. It picks up, as it forms in the atmosphere, it picks up small, very tiny amounts of 2 gases found in the Earth's atmosphere, carbon dioxide, CO2, and sulfur dioxide, SO2.
好，那他说呢，这个 when water on the Earth's surface， 当地球表面上的水 evaporates， 就是这个蒸发那 evaporate 这个 VA 是 a 的声音，但是如果它的原来有一个字根或者一个名词 vapor， 那是 A 的声音， vapor 就是蒸汽。好，那 evaporate 那个 E 就是 out 或者 out of， 所以你可以想到它就是以蒸汽的形式跑出来的，那就是蒸发的意思。好，所以地球表面上的水会蒸发。好，蒸发是以什么样的形式蒸发呢？后面告诉你 as water vapor， 就是水蒸气的形式来蒸发。那当它蒸发的时候呢 it picks up， 它会吸收 tiny amounts of 很细微的一些two gases 2种气体，所以它蒸发的时候会吸收2种气体，这2种气体是 found in the Earth's atmosphere， 它可以在 大气层里面找到，也就是它蒸发的时候它会吸收大气层里面这2种气体。那哪2种呢？后面2个就是同位格告诉你这2种气体就是二氧化碳跟二氧化硫。
Because it's kind of a property of water that it's like a universal solvent on this planet. And so you can easily mix many, many things in with water. And so it's very easy for water to pick things up on its journey. So in the air, it gets carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide mixed into it. And then when this vapor of water forms raindrops, this fresh water that's in the rain is actually slightly acidic. And the acidic quality comes from the dioxide of carbon and the dioxide of sulfur. So it gets slightly acidic when it becomes raindrops in the air.
好，那刚刚讲到水，它其实是一个很厉害的溶剂，它可以融入，可以融化很多东西也因此它可以吸收很多东西。所以这里讲到说呢，当这个水蒸气呢，它一路吸收了二氧化碳、二氧化硫那当这个水蒸气 forms， 当它形成 raindrops。形成水这个雨滴的时候呢，这个所谓的 fresh water 那这个 fresh 它这里放了 quotation marks 那我们来问问作者 Why did you put fresh in the quotation marks?
Because most people think that rain is 100% H2O. It's fresh, it's pure, but actually it isn't.
所以呢这个 fresh 放在这里就是因为大多数的人都以为雨水是 fresh water 但事实上它们不是那么的 fresh， 不是那么的这个淡因为淡水 fresh water 这个 fresh 可以翻成淡水，所以雨水不是那么的淡那所以这个所谓的淡水呢，其实是 slightly 微微的 acidic 带有酸性那这个 acidic 是形容词，那名词当然就是 acid ACID。
As it falls on the ground, the acid dissolves small amounts of mineral salts, which end up in the water, a process known as weathering. As the rain falls onto the ground, it has these acids in it, and those acids dissolve. They combine with mineral salts, that would be the soil, the rocks, and there's a chemical reaction there, and it wears away. It begins to dissolve the earth itself and the rocks, of course, over very, very long periods of time. And that's what scientists call weathering.
Weathering 就是我们所谓翻成侵蚀水会侵蚀东西那所以这个地方讲到说 as it falls on the ground 这个雨水落到地面的时候呢 the acid 这个酸会 dissolves 就是溶解，会溶解 small amounts of 溶解一些少量的 mineral salts 就是矿物的盐类那这些矿物的盐类被溶了之后呢，最后会 which 这些矿物盐类呢 end up 最后会 in the water 会流入水中那同位格告诉你这是 a process， 这就是 a process which is a process known as weathering， 这就是一个我们所谓的所称的侵蚀这样的一个 process。
And so over billions of years, these tiny amounts of salts have built up for billions of years, producing our salty oceans, which leads one to wonder, billions and billions of years ago, were our oceans fresh?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
In short, yes.
Ice. The ice on Earth is not salty. An iceberg, for example, because it comes from the land, contains no salt at all.
Ooh.
I thought that the salts just don't freeze. Like,
no,
ice is a purification process. That's not true?
No, they're heavier. The salts are heavier, and they fall out, if you like, from the ice.
Yeah. So ice won't have salt in it anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
好，所以刚刚这 Angela 说，那他这样想，那这个这个 billions of years ago 这个地球上的水是不是都是淡水呢？海水是不是淡的呢？那不如少说，根据科学的说法是的。那这个例如说这个冰山，因为那个冰山的冰是在陆地上形成的，所以冰山其实是没有不咸的冰山里面就算含有盐，那个盐也会沉下去好，那我们来回来看看这个句，他说呢，这个These tiny amounts of salts 这些很微量的盐 have built up 就是 accumulate 累积 ACCUMULATE 它已经累积了 for billions of years， 已经这个数十亿年，累积了数十亿年。好，然后呢 producing 就产生了我们的 salty oceans， 产生了我们咸咸的海水。
Volcanic activity, volcanoes, also contributes to the saltiness of the ocean in similar ways. All that smoke that comes out of volcanoes has a lot of sulfur in it. It adds to, it combines with the oxygen in the atmosphere. Any SO2, SO3, SO4, these are more and more acidic.
Volcanic 就是火山的 activity 行动所以 volcanic activity 火山行动呢，或者火山的活动also 也 contributes to 就是促成了它也促成了 the saltiness of the ocean。盐海水里面带盐这件事情呢，火山活动也有一点帮助，也有一点贡献contributes to。那 in similar ways， 它怎么样促成海水的盐带有盐呢？它的方法是类似的它以类似的方式让海水变咸。
So let's talk article structure for a real quick sec. The first part of the article, the first paragraph, is basically introducing the idea that water is mostly salty on this planet. And then it ends with a question, why? Then our second paragraph answers in a succinct way exactly how it works that our oceans are salty. And we've wrapped that up now. And now we're going into the third paragraph where we have a little bit of extra fun information about the Dead Sea. So we start. Most of us have accidentally gulped a bit of seawater and tasted its salt. Oh my gosh. I grew up being used to swimming in freshwater lakes. And so you don't keep your mouth closed that carefully because it's fresh water. You can drink it, yeah?
Right.
So the first time I swam in the ocean, I was in for a big shock. I was like, what?
Yeah, 这 Angela 老师呢，他在美国长大的时候，他都是在湖里面游泳所以都是淡水游泳所以他们习惯不会很注意把嘴巴闭紧不要喝到水，因为他喝的是淡水那如果喝到水也是淡水。后来他第一次跑到海水浴场就喝这个游泳的时候，突然就因为习惯嘴巴张开，所以喝了那个海水，哇，咸死他了。就像我们这里这一句讲的，他说 most of us， 我们大多数的人都曾经 accidentally 就是意外地 gulp 就是大口喝下a bit of seawater 大概大口喝下了一些海水那你可能这个嘴巴张大，可是还是喝一点点，但是还是感觉是 gulp。那 gulp 通常会让你有那种音响效果，就咕噜咕噜那样灌下去好，那这个我们都喝过海水喝一点点海水，而且呢 tasted 我们都尝过 its salt， 都尝过海水的那个盐，那个咸。
You wouldn't want that to happen, gulping salt water while floating or swimming in the Dead Sea. That's a very small sea between Israel and Jordan in the Middle East.
And it's getting much smaller.
Yeah. Its water is nearly 10 times as salty as that found in the ocean. So poor Angela, if that had first happened to her in the Dead Sea. Poor girl.
Yeah. 所以 you wouldn't want to 就是你不会想要去做这件事情，就是你绝对不要去做这件事情的意思所以你不会想要that to happen 就是喝到海水这件事情去发生。换句话说，你不想喝到海水当你在哪里不想喝到海水，当你在这个死海在那里漂浮或者游泳的时候，你不会想喝到那里的水，因为它的水是将近10倍的 as salty as that 就是指 the water found in the ocean that 就是代替 the water， 所以这个死海的水呢，比起 the water found in the ocean 海水里面的这个海水呢还要咸将近10倍。
Now, only a few microbes, only a few germs can accept so much salinity and stay alive. So the saltier your water is, the more disinfectant it is.
Disinfect 就是杀菌的意思D-I-S-I-N-F-E-C-T 那所以这里讲到说，在这个只有少数的 a few 只有几种microbes 微生物可以 stand 忍受 so much 这么多的 salinity 就是盐度能够忍受这么高的盐度，只有少数的微生物，所以大多数的微生物都会被杀掉，所以你可以用这个来杀菌。
Still, all those minerals are supposed to be good for healthy skin. Don't gulp the water, but you can get into the Dead Sea, and that's supposed to help your skin stay fresh and germ-free.
所以呢，有这么多的 minerals 这些矿物质呢 are supposed to 理论上应该是 be good for 对什么很好呢？对 healthy skin。你如果皮肤是健康的话，健康的皮肤碰到这些矿物质呢，其实是很好的啊，皮肤会更好。
We can't drink it, but we can still bathe and swim in it.
我们没有办法喝这些很咸的海水，但是我们还是可以在里面 bathe 可以是游泳的意思哈。也可以是这个沐浴的意思，所以我们还可以一样可以在这里面沐浴，在里面游泳。
Okay, that's it for today's lesson. Join us again. We'll be back, the three of us, next week for